the ape flu, COVID-2, chimpanzee boogaloo, whatever you want to call it, monkeypox has dropped onto our lives faster than the pants of a San Francisco man propositioned by leather daddies. So how have we got here? How has a disease known for sporadic outbursts in West Africa suddenly spread across the globe and been determined as a public health emergency by the World Health Organization? Well, let's wind back the clock a few months. Cases were first noticed in the United Kingdom and Western European countries, with a few having recently traveled to Africa, as would be expected for monkeypox. However, the other cases were found within gay or bisexual men who hadn't left the country, leading the British health authorities to conclude that it was spreading in sexual networks. That turned out to be an understatement. Just in time for Gay Pride Month, cases were being tracked across Europe and America, with the super spreader events not being gatherings of you and your best friends sitting at home with a couple of beers, but instead gay saunas and anonymous sex raves. The stats came in, and according to both the first study done on monkeypox from the New England Journal of Medicine and the World Health Organization, 98% of people who tested positive in 16 different countries were men who had sex with men. I can already hear the keyboard warriors getting ready to screech, "Homophobe! How dare I repeat such bigoted statistics?" This is obviously just because gay men are being tested more. There must be an explanation, right? Sorry, libtard, but I have got the facts and logic to back this one up even more. But before we get into the real data on this wonderful gift from Africa and our alphabet friends, I wanted to say a quick thank you to our wonderful sponsor, Noble Gold. Gas is at $7 a gallon. A 10-year-old Honda Civic will set you back $20,000, and rent is $2,000 a month. Welcome to 8.6% inflation, and it doesn't look like it's getting better anytime soon. So what can you do? You can try trading stocks or buy mutual funds, but returns are sinking fast. You'd have to make at least 10% with charges just to break even. And if you're looking at retiring comfortably, this isn't even an option. But luckily, there are options like gold IRAs. Perhaps you haven't heard much about them though. That's why Noble Gold has a team of experts you can speak to right now that can guide you to financial safety again. And if you're quick, they're giving away an incredible American Eagle gold-proof coin with every qualifying IRA or 401k rollover. You can't go wrong with Noble Gold. Call the team right now at 877-646-5347 or visit noblegoldinvestments.com. So is monkeypox really a gay man's disease? With numbers like 98% of the affected people being men who have sex with men, it's not the worst assumption. Looking at the figures from the UK Health Security Agency, half of men who were tested for monkeypox were positive, while only 0.6% of women were. And absolutely nobody under the age of 18 in the UK tested positive. These differences in test positivity rates are a really good control for removing bias in testing rate differences. It's pretty clear to anyone with a brain that monkeypox is not exactly a gay disease, so to speak, but it sure as heck is acting like one. I dare you to try to find a single social media post or interview from someone who has had monkeypox who was not a gay man or some other bepenist individual. And 99% of the time, they got it after attending some sort of public gay sex orgy, like Sebastian Cohn, a division director at George Soros Open Society Foundations, who caught it after attending New York Pride weekend, or this rather sane individual who guzzled the urine of 15 different men at a piss party and, shockingly, got monkeypox. In fact, this is something that basically everyone admits. They know the gay community are especially susceptible to catching schlong COVID, as Tucker Carlson so eloquently put it. Dr. Ashish Jha, a White House medical advisor, said that it was very clear at this point that the community most affected is the LGBTQ community. This is one of the reasons why I said we've been deeply engaged with them. The vaccine is also only being given by a number of states, including New York, not just to gay men, but only gay men who have had multiple sexual partners within the last 2 weeks. If you're a gay man who isn't going around getting your butt spanked by men in weird leather costumes, you probably won't catch it for some strange reason. Absolutely inexplicable. Can't figure it out. And yet, I don't like to make direct comparisons to 1984 because it's rather cliche, but we are seeing a lot of doublethink on this issue right now. When dealing with many progressives about this topic, you must contend with the idea that monkeypox is simultaneously a disease only being spread in gay sexual networks and the vaccine only offered to promiscuous gay men, but you can't make the link to those gay orgies and monkeypox or you're a bigot. If you think I'm kidding about this, a perfect example just happened last week on Fox News where they had a panel debating the issue. Conservative commentator Ned Ryan offered up some pretty good advice as to how to not catch monkeypox. Simply put, don't attend gay orgies.
As for monkeypox, I think there's a pretty good rule in life. Don't attend gay orgies. When you look at the New England Journal's report of the 528 cases they reviewed.
Ned, come on, man.
It's not about gay. How about not any orgies?
Go look at the New England Journal's report that NBC News reported on Friday, in which of the 528 cases they reviewed, 95% were sex between men. I think we actually have to have a serious conversation about where this is coming from. When I'm done, Brad, you can talk. Instead of going crazy and declaring a national pandemic when 3,000 people have it right now, it's insane.
I don't know, man. You don't have to be gay to get monkeypox, and you don't have to be bigoted when you talk about treating something that is that easily spread, Marie.
It's not bigoted.
Yeah, it is.
This is science, Kennedy. 95% of the cases from the New England Journal.
You know what? I'm going to let Brad respond. Okay, I'm going to let Brad respond because, Brad, we had 372 doses. The United States, in Denmark, where the smallpox, monkeypox vaccine is manufactured, they were ready to go, but because this has been an issue for more men in the gay community, it seems like it has been lower on the priority list. Brad.
Yeah, look, Ned is right when he says that monkeypox right now is mostly affecting gay men. The problem is that public health-wise, not going to orgies in general is a good policy to not get sexually transmitted diseases.
100%.
And so we have to be really careful. We saw with the AIDS crisis, with the HIV crisis, about how certain communities or certain gay people will be stigmatized over something that lots of people do. And we got to be careful about that.
And that kind of, I will use the term, bigoted language that makes it seem like the only people that get this are from one group of Americans. Hey, guess what? Gay men also have friends and family members and colleagues, and this is not just transmitted through sexual activity. It's transmitted through close contact. So you don't fight diseases. I'm glad Brad brought up HIV/AIDS. You don't fight diseases by caricaturing the people who get them or who get them at one point in time.
Now, this seems rather reasonable to anyone who's even paid a morsel of attention to how this latest outbreak has spread, but of course, the rest of the panel erupted into total outrage, including Brad Palumbo, who unsurprisingly is gay himself. The Foundation of Economic Education policy correspondent tried to pretend that it was just all orgies that were the problem, as if somehow heterosexual sex parties were anywhere near as common or were where monkeypox is actually being tracked and spreading. Palumbo and another panelist, Marie Harf, both brought up the fact that the LGBT community was stigmatized over the HIV/AIDS epidemic in the 1980s in exactly the same manner. So therefore, we now can't mention the fact that gay people are spreading monkeypox. And in some respects, Brad is right. It is just like the HIV/AIDS epidemic because the media and health authorities are trying to meme us all into thinking that monkeypox is just as easily caught by those of us not into butt fisting. Writing last month in the Washington Post, Benjamin Ryan, a science reporter who is a gay man himself, demanded that the LGBT community be told the unvarnished truth about monkeypox, as otherwise there was absolutely zero chance of them being able to stop the spread of this disease. Ryan argued that the gay community was devastated by the CDC for running a misleading public service campaign about HIV and AIDS, declaring that anyone could get it. Those claims belied the truth about the relative risk of HIV, which in Western nations has always predominantly affected gay and bisexual men. By reducing monkeypox risk to a simplistic binary equation, public health leaders are prioritizing fighting stigma over their duty to directly inform the public about the true contours and drivers of this global outbreak. In particular, they are failing to properly convey the seriousness of this burgeoning crisis to gay and bisexual men. Quick aside, but I can't bring up Ryan's article without mentioning the incredible typo he made while promoting the arguments on Twitter, accidentally declaring that the monkeypox outbreak was occurring almost entirely among men who have sex with me. Incredible, Ryan. Good one. The talk about reducing stigma is exactly what worries me most now. In almost the same breath as noting the 98% statistic, Dr. Tedros of the World Health Organization demanded that news outlets and social media companies now work with them to stop harmful information about monkeypox being spread by people online. What harmful information, Teddy boy? The statistic that you yourself admit? Stigma and discrimination can be as dangerous as any virus and can fuel outbreak. No. I know what's spreading the outbreak, and it is not me. We've all just experienced over 2 years of how to stop the spread. We were all locked inside our homes, and Granny had to die all alone in the hospital while we couldn't attend her funeral. All of this for a disease that was definitely nowhere near as redacted. Oops, sorry folks. Gotta be careful what I say on the YouTubes with the censors. What I meant to say was that COVID was an incredibly deadly and dangerous disease, and I'm so glad we got to be locked indoors for 2 years, fellow citizens. But seriously, where is this energy now with monkeypox? It's not only nowhere to be seen, I feel like it's actually been smothered with a pillow in secret. Suddenly, when there is a disease rapidly spreading, we can't put any limits on what people do or who they sleep with. Just this weekend, a literal gay sex kink festival took place in San Francisco, despite the city saying that monkeypox was a public health emergency. Joe Hawkins, the director of the Oakland LGBTQ Community Center, admitted that the beloved Door Alley Festival was a very, very high-risk possibility of becoming a super spreader event. But despite this, the group has specifically refused to tell people not to go. You can tell people, do not do this, and I just think that here in this country, people have a problem with that, he said, according to Mercury News. Right. Okay, tell that to everyone who shut down the schools and put our entire lives on hold for 2 years. Your parents can die alone and scared, but don't you dare stop the piss orgies? Like, are these people being serious? In an even worse take, the San Francisco AIDS Foundation is not only encouraging people to go out, but they're telling people who have suspected bumps and lumps to just cover it with a Band-Aid or clothing before you go out and engage in sex acts. I genuinely cannot believe this is the world we're living in. I'm somehow still surprised by Clown World. And even more so, just the cherry on top of this, supreme irony, of course, you have to be vaccinated for COVID before you can attend. Don't worry though, guys. I think I've figured out a solution to all this. One of the most memorable propaganda pieces of the HIV/AIDS epidemic in the 1980s came from Princess Diana, who made sure to shake the hands of AIDS patients to prove that you could not catch the disease just from physical touch. It was a serious game changer in reducing false stigma around HIV and AIDS. So I figured we ought to reduce false stigma around monkeypox as well. And as we all know from our health authorities, physical touch is exactly the way to catch monkeypox, and it has absolutely nothing to do with gay orgies. In which case, I think it's time for a reverse handshake campaign. If you're gay or bi, considering that 98% stat we're looking at, I'm just gonna have to assume you have it and God forbid shake your hand. Stay at least 6 feet apart from me, please, because the CDC have told me if I just shake your hand, it's gonna be bad news, right? That's the way you catch monkeypox. In all seriousness though, it is a real shame we can't just have a real, honest conversation about monkeypox, because yet again, the rose-colored glasses that progressives are demanding us all wear are putting the very communities they purport to protect at risk, not giving them the proper information. So while I am obviously thrilled we are not going into some insane fascist lockdown again, I do hope we can one day, maybe not in my lifetime, but one day, have honest conversations about any disease without politics completely dominating the conversation. When are we we keep saying trust the science, but very little of our discussions on disease is about the science at all. It's all about politics and posturing. Can only hope that maybe when this empire falls and we start a new one, that will change. But I appreciate you all watching this video. Stay safe out there. Stay out of gay orgies for a bit, and I will catch you next time.